I met a gypsy.
When you were in Europe, were you in there, like, were you and Sharky in Europe at the same time?
Yeah, so me and Sharky both, so me, Sharky, and Burner
Okay.
all left Australia at the same time.
Fuck, that would have been fun.
So obviously Burner went to the US and did the AMIG, what was that? The Edge, I think the team was called, or something like that. And then it's kind of a funny story. So obviously, what was it? The MXGP in Broadford in 2000. Burner and Andrew, should I say Andrew and Burner were the big performers.
Yeah.
I think they went 3 and 4th or something like that. Maybe Andrew got 3rd overall at the 500 race. I
forgot about that race, dude.
I don't remember what I got. Maybe I got like an 8th or a 9th, and then like a 15th or something like that.
Did you race the 500 as well?
I raced a 426.
Really?
Yeah. So
No
I was
way.
on Yamaha, so we raced
that
a 426.
thing would have handled sick.
And back then you had to be 18 to race it, and I think I just made the cutoff. Like I maybe my birthday was like a week or two before the GP. So I only was just old enough to actually race it. So anyway, I didn't perform, nearly as good as what they did. Those guys ripped starts and crushed it, and so Kawasaki, obviously, and Andrew was on Kawasaki in Oz. So Andrew, naturally was getting offered the Yanda
good rides and stuff.
Yeah, like the Kawasaki ride, and then he didn't take it. He took the Yamaha ride to stay in 500, and then I believe Burner also turned down the Kawasaki ride, went to the US. So then Jan de Groot called me as pretty much like the last hope of like...
You're like the 3rd string quarterback.
You're
like Jimmy Gruffalo, bro.
I'm like the 3rd string quarterback, and they're like,
shit.
Okay, here's your ride. I don't even remember how he reached out to me, whether it was by phone.
It wasn't a DM,
or it was no DM. It was back when, like I had no email, no, smartphone or anything like that. So it was all about a fax. So everything was done over fax.
Really?
So, basically I believe that there was a phone call and, hey, I'm Jan de Groot. I run Factory Kawasaki.
Hello, Chad. Is this you?
And at that point, I hear Factory Kawasaki. I have no fucking clue who Jan de Groot is. I have no clue about Europe in general because I was so America.
Curry.
America. But I was Curry, but I was Jeremy McGrath. And American Supercross. So like, I knew Stefan Everts, Monique Bavorts, and, Rinaldi Yamaha, but like I didn't follow it close enough to know Jan de Groot ran, and was essentially a key component to Sebastian Dortelli's career, to Stefan Everts' career, to, all these other people. And so all I heard was Factory Kawasaki contract, and I'm like, yep, perfect, let's do it.
And I'm out.
And he faxes through a contract, and from, top to bottom, I think maybe it was a 2-pager at that point. Now they're 22 pages long.
I was going to say, shit, that's barely a waiver to drive a go-kart.
Yeah,
now.
So literally it's basically what is currently a waiver, and it was XYZ. All I read was it was an 80,000 US sign-on, which I was like, fuck yeah, sign me up. And it was 20,000 Dutch, whatever it used to be.
Francs or something.
Dutch francs or something like that, for food money. I'm like, bro, I'm getting food money, sign me up. And it was a vehicle too. They would give me a motorhome and a van. So I'm like, perfect. All I got to do is pay for, rent, I got food money, and I'm literally thinking that an $80,000 contract at that point is $1 million, what felt like $1 million to me, because like you go from a $25,000 a year to 80 US, which is what, 120 or something like that at the point back in those days. So it was never about the money. It was really just like all I heard was Factory Kawasaki.
Well, you probably couldn't have even like speaking of the money, Like you couldn't have even really known what $80,000 was like capable of doing.
I
like
didn't.
you would,
Yeah, I mean, I didn't. At
you
that
would
point,
have not even known how to spend $80,000 or how far $80,000 would even go.
You never. I didn't even. You didn't know at that point. It just seemed so surreal. You know, like it really did. Like at that point, you felt like how can you fuck up life when you got $80,000? Like literally, you know, like it's so funny that I think about it, and it's just. Yeah, it's amazing. Like it wouldn't even be a down payment for a house. But
Dude,
yet,
do you remember at your peak money, and you don't have to say numbers, but like, was there ever a moment where you were just like, what the fuck?
No, because...
Or is it because it's a slow build to get there?
I would say in a sad way, you're so caught up in that moment, and you know you're so influenced from people around you. No matter what the number was, whether somebody offered you 3 million, you know, or 4 million, you still wanted 5 or you wanted 6, you know, or you heard that James got this or Ricky got that. So you just kind of were like, like for me, it wasn't ever like I never, and in a sad, good way maybe, but I never cared about money. Like it wasn't like I cared. It was more getting what you're worth and being okay with that. But as far as like the actual number, that number never meant anything to me. Like it wasn't like I was like, and I think about it now and it's like maybe it would have been nice to embrace and go, wow, like I'm really thankful for this. But I didn't. You never stopped to think about being thankful because you expected it. It was what the other two were getting. So it was like, sweet, all right, good. I was appreciative, massively appreciative, but like just, I never took that moment of, wow, that's really cool. Like who thought, you know, from a kid that grew up in Kurri would be signing, you know, a deal like this. That never happened because that wasn't real to me, because all I had in mind was win, 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 win. And it was either win, and literally it's that you're either first or last feeling. And that was, I think, the shitty part of Ricky, James, myself era, is that we were so just cutthroat. Win or lose, that was it. There was nothing in between.
I actually remember being a kid and seeing like photos of you in second and looking like you wanted to fucking kill somebody.
and that was real.
Yeah, and in my head I was like, damn, I would love to get second just like one time. Just give me 1 second like at a club day. You know what I mean? And like I never ever ever understood until like nowadays. And because it's not just you, like it's this machine that you're caught in, and it's all these people that you're around, and it's like, you know, the momentum from one weekend to a next, and then the championship. It's like, it's so much more than just like that 20 laps. Okay, I got second, bummer. It's like, it's everything, eh? Like it consumes you. And I remember when Mossy got the podium for JDR, bro, me and Jay, we fucking sprinted. We sprinted from our seats down, and my heart was racing 1,000,000 fucking miles an hour, man. I was shaking. I was so happy. And I was happy for him. I was happy for Jay. I was happy for myself. I was happy for Nate Dogg. I was happy for every fucking mechanic. I was so happy for all of these people. And I think maybe that was one of the first moments where I really got like some legitimate insight into what it must have been like for guys like you to have
I
everything riding on it.
And what's so awesome about like that experience is that's a team of people that have all essentially worked hard, built a team, and gotten maybe not the ultimate prize, but a massive prize.
In the context
and
of it,
you're genuinely are happy for achieving that. And I was also happy with achieving those first wins and podiums and whatnot, or fourths in the 250 class in my 125, you know, the first year. but it quickly just
changes.
It quickly overcomes you, and you just become so competitive that, and I guess that was probably the downside to racing Ricky, is that that's how Ricky was. Like think about, Ricky probably put on in the early days, not so much, but when you see Ricky lose in the early days, he learned to be politically correct in losing. But in the early days, he generally fucking hated it, and hated it every time after that. But
he learned to put a poker face on.
But he definitely learned to put on a poker face, and I could pretty much word for word tell you what he would say if he lost, because that was his go-to words to cover it up, And I applaud him for learning that earlier than I was able to. But it just, you just worked your ass off, and everybody around you, and it was like there was first to last. That was the feeling, and it was so gnarly but so awesome all at the same time. Like there's parts of me that it makes me sad that you never embraced it, but I think that's who you truly were, and probably why I still am here today is because I generally loved working hard, trying to win, the winning feel, and though I haven't had the winning feel in a while, it still runs super, super deep within myself, and you want to put that puzzle back together, and each performance at that podium level from here on out would, I feel like, be embraced more.
If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe. And to listen to the full 3-hour podcast, search Gypsy Tales in your favorite podcast platform or click the link in the description below. Gypsy Gang.